good day, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of According to MzShellz. And it's me, Mystery. I'm here, I'm back. It's MzShellz. So today we're going to be doing another episode in my series for Black-owned businesses because I want to expose friends of mine who are doing phenomenal things. And it doesn't matter where they are because most of these people have a global reach, including my guests today. They are Landa and Rotunda Morgan of Nfuxion Design Solutions. They are based in Dallas, Texas, or Dallas-Fort Worth area, but they have a global reach, as I said before. And as we discussed today, we will talk all about what they do and what they do. Okay, so welcome, welcome, welcome to the Morgans, to my show. Welcome to
Thank you so much.
MzShellz. How are you doing today?
We're good. We're good. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having us.
All right. So as I told everybody that you are the owners of Nfuxion Design Solutions, but guess what? As I always say, there's always something up my sleeves, people. These two have separate entities within themselves, okay? And we're going to be talking about those entities too, but we're going to start off with just finding out who are these people. So my friends, please introduce yourselves to my audience.
Well, hello, my name is Rotunda Morgan. I am the co-owner of Nfuxion Design Solutions.
And my name is Landa Morgan. I am also the co-owner of Nfuxion Design Solutions. And we're the Morgans.
We're the Morgans.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So tell us, what started this journey of, let's deal with the entity with the both of you together first, okay? So tell us a little bit about what initiated the start of Nfuxion Design Solutions.
Right. So I think it really started out, as much as many businesses do, it started out of necessity. Around about 2006, 2007, we were dating at the time. We weren't married yet. And we were starting a clothing line. That's another story, but we were starting a couture line, a high-end couture line back then while we were dating. And I knew nothing about graphic design. I knew nothing about marketing, anything. I was just totally lost with it. And our business partner at the time, we had another business partner, and she was funding the business, and we were hands-on with a lot of the daily operations with the clothing line. My wife was doing a lot of the design work, as I was as well. And I went to a website company. It was actually a Black-owned website company here in Dallas-Fort Worth. And I had sketched out what I wanted for a website. And so I presented it. They were very reputable. They did exceptional work. Yeah. And I went in there with my little sketches and everything of what I wanted for the website. And they went through the consultation with me and everything. And they came back that same day with a quote for the project. And it was over, at that time, it was over $6,000. And I was like, oh no, we can't do that. That's most of our budget. So I literally went home that day and Googled how to build a website. I literally did that. And I found out, the different software at that time, because it wasn't near as advanced for websites today, then as it is today. It was all kind of old, antiquated HTML and everything. And there was a lot of hard coding that you had to learn to build websites at that time. And so I literally, I went to Barnes and Nobles and picked up some tutorials and some books and everything. You had YouTube back then, but I don't think it was as widespread and as much information as it is, now. Back at that time, it was like MySpace and a couple other things. So there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram, none of that was available. And so thank God for Google at the time, but it was still kind of fairly new back in 06, 07. And so I would just stay up for hours, just learning how to code. And it would literally, to move one icon from left of the screen to the right of the screen would take me hours to learn how to do that. And at that time, MySpace was very big. And a lot of the artists and recording artists and rappers and different things were on MySpace promoting their music. Well, at that time, everybody wanted like the popular in thing that all celebrities had, which was the custom MySpace pages. That was the it thing. And so as I was learning coding, I was learning CSS style sheets, I was learning HTML, and I was learning graphic design as well. I had never touched graphic design. I didn't know what Photoshop was. And those were the early programs of Photoshop. And so I at that time, you could sign up for a trial, a 30-day trial for Photoshop. And I literally did that like consecutively, like 3 or 4 times, but learning, Photoshop and Dreamweaver and all these different applications. And so that's kind of how it grew from there. It was out of necessity, and we were broke, and we wanted something excellent, something great. And so fast forward a little bit, it was my mom. I had designed a business card for a friend of ours. And she came back to me, and I just did it for fun and, just to kind of hone my skills. And she said, well, this is a business. You need to start a business out of this. And I was like, nah, Mom, I'm good. I'm cool. And, I was working in corporate America. I was making pretty good money. So I was like, nah, I ain't trying to, do all that. And I guess my mom spoke it prophetically. And here we are today, 13 years later. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank God for moms.
Absolutely.
Awesome, cool. So I as you mentioned earlier about coding and stuff, I remember years ago, maybe it's around that same time, trying to do the whole thing of building web designs and stuff like that. And I remember the class, as you were saying that, I remember those classes where there was a back office and then you have the front office and you have to do the different codes and so much numbers and letters to put in just to get a color. And
yes.
I was just saying, oh yes, I do.
Yeah. And see, back then, like, 05, 06, 07, it was, like I said, it was a lot more hands-on with the code more so than it is today. You've got a lot of website builders, you've got a lot of drag and drop, applications that you can use to build really nice websites. But we didn't have that then. And so everything was hard coded on the back end. So
right. Trust me, I remember. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, and it's amazing to see how life has evolved where technology is concerned and so on. And so one of the things I wanted to find out for the both of you, either one of you could answer, as you navigated this world of web, what made you stand out? What were some of the things that maybe you would have done to allow you to stand out? Because ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that is they're more than just my friends. I'm great admirers of them. I'm actually did consultations with them and I admire their work in terms of the level of excellence. So when you look at web pages, this is something about what they do. I saw their most recent work about 3 ladies starting a show. And so they did a big picture. I don't want to mispronounce the names or misquote what the title of the show is, but just that spirit of excellence. That's the point I'm bringing out. So what the question I'm asking you now, guys, is what skills did you bring on that I don't know, that your level of work is just different?
First of all, because we believe that this business, because what Landa said earlier, is that this was birthed out of necessity, but also I think it was birthed because this was something that God gave us. When we believe that whatever we do it unto the honor of God. So whatever we do and whatever we put our hands to, we do it because of Him. We don't put our hands to anything that is not done in excellence for God. So I believe because of that, God gave Landa this gift and this skill to do. I'm not a designer. Now, again, I went to school to be a programmer as well and hated it. And I did it a long time ago. This was in the early 90s. And so I think what it is for us is that we want to show people that things should be done in excellence. You should do things with your hand fully in, everything fully in. If you're not going to do it, we believe just don't do it. So we just believe in that, and we cause of God first, and that is what I have to say.
Yeah, and I can definitely just kind of piggyback off of my wife when she's saying, for us, you know, I didn't, like I said, I didn't know anything about the applications. I didn't know anything about graphic design. I could always draw. I've been drawing since I was a kid. And so the raw skill, the raw talent God puts there, it's always there. But it's up to you to refine it. It's up to you to sharpen it. And I think one thing that we did to hone our skills, particularly for design and for marketing, the main thing I would tell anybody is whatever it is that you're setting out to do, research it. Research it, research it. There's no excuse not to know your craft, because somebody out here is doing something similar to what it is that you're doing, right?
True.
And so what we tend to do is we tend to just kind of want to wing it and willy-nilly, and oh, God gave me a vision and God gave me an idea, but he expects you to perfect it. I think about, you know, in the Bible, and you think about David, you know, David being, you know, a warrior, but he started out a shepherd. Now, how did he know how to fight, you know, Goliath and those men? Well, it started out him honing his craft somewhere in the back end of the desert or the wilderness somewhere, fighting lions and bears, you know. And so for me and my skill set, it was important to have the foundation and not just jump in and try to start making money and jump in. It wasn't about money. It was about, because I would see things that were off. Like I would go to a church and I would see a church program and I would see tons of typos, and I would see the graphics, the faces on the graphics all stretched across the you know, the landscape of the page. And I would always, you know, it's kind of like your passion is the innovation, right? Anything that you're upset with, or you kind of get angry at, or you see something and you don't like it, that's usually God giving you an indication that that's where your passion is, and that's where you have a solution. And so I would tell business owners everywhere that whatever you have passion for, you have a little bit of anger for, you know, turn that anger into fuel, into innovation. And so that's what helped me hone my skills with graphic design and with marketing, different things, was researching, you know, finding out, and then researching the greats, researching the people who do what you want to do and do it well, right? Because it's like, you don't, if I'm looking to go into higher education, I graduate high school and I go to a university, or I go to Yale or Harvard or whatever, an Ivy League school, I expect them to know more than I know, right? And so I'm paying that tuition, whether it's monetary, whether it's my time, whatever, I'm paying that tuition to get knowledge and information that I don't have. And I have to come in as a sponge, ready to absorb that information that I'm getting from that professor. So it's the same thing with business, is that humble yourself enough to take time to research. And I'll also kind of use this example when I tell people, you think about, you know, just to tie it into scripture, you think about Moses, and Moses being on the back end and backside of the desert after fleeing Egypt. Well, he doesn't know anything about himself, really. He's trying to find out who he is, you know, what he's capable of, who is this God that's, you know, talking to him now. And it took the help of his wife Zipporah, and it took the help of his father-in-law Jethro to really pour back into him who the God of Israel was and who he was and why he was the deliverer. But it took time. It took years and years of him, you know, having to cultivate his gift, having to learn how to go approach the king, the Pharaoh again, because he felt like he was slow of speech and all these different things. So had he gone just raw willy-nilly, the Pharaoh would have been like, dude, you're not ready, get up out of here. Your people ain't going nowhere. And so that's how we have to approach business, is give it time, research it, study the craft, learn it, make the mistakes on the back end before you jump out there with whatever your vision or your product is.
And that's exactly what we did. A lot of research, a lot of trial and error. But like Landa said, you know, before we jump out to do anything, before any kind of business, we always want to make sure that we're ready,
right,
and ready to go out there and present to the world what we have.
Right.
Awesome. So takeaway, guys: research, improve, perfect. All right.
Absolutely.
It's a good takeaway. All right. Awesome. So, all right. So you have been in, you said, for quite a while now. What's your most memorable project without maybe giving too many names out, but and
Right.
why? Why was it memorable? What's your, if you could call it, favorite?
Right. I think for me, and there's so many, and I've been doing this since 2013. We actually, my wife and I, she joined me in 2016, and
We actually been doing it since
I'm sorry, 2008. I'm sorry, yes, 2008, and
Yes.
she joined me in 2016 after we got married. 2 3 years after we got married. But the most memorable client, I think for us at that time, was probably Bishop T.D. Jakes in the Potter's House.
Okay,
Um,
awesome.
yeah, and so that was big for us because that was our church, and Bishop was our pastor, and at the time, and that was exciting to be presented with an opportunity to be able to do some graphic design work and some marketing materials for the church. And so I think that, and I think another one for me was there's an orphanage that we're part of and that we support in Kenya called the Brenda Ellis Children's Home. And we actually sowed into that ministry, into that orphanage, by providing the branding, the logo, the website, everything that they needed at the time, video production. And so I think that's the one that kind of sticks out. Those two is the Potter's House and the orphanage in Kenya.
Awesome, awesome. A good way to us to start talking about your global reach.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're also learning that our guests are philanthropists. Okay, all right. So they have been to Kenya, they've sewed, and that's a good way for person to understand it's not more than just getting. It's being able to give from whatever skills or talents that you have. So tell us about navigating, because I mean, with someone being a web designer and stuff, it's not a more, you don't have to go literally to the country, but I'm sure there's still little nuances that you need to observe. What was that like, navigating the international space with, let's say, just web page designing? That's the basic
Right.
one.
Well, I'll say this, as far as what we do, web design is just one facet of it, right? You're talking about branding, you're talking about marketing, social media management, digital marketing, all those things, print design, print media, video production, all those things come up under the umbrella of Nfuxion. And so when you're talking about the global stage, well, everybody needs that, right? Everybody now is in the technology age. And so one of the things that we've been blessed and fortunate to do is be able to travel. And when we do travel, we meet people, we intentionally meet people, we intentionally try to learn a little bit of the languages from the countries that we go to, so that we can understand people, and then we don't like to do all the touristy stuff. We like to go where the local people are and really kind of break bread and fellowship with them. Why? Because that gives us an understanding of the cultures and the communities that we're dealing with. And when we eventually go into doing business in these areas, we have an idea of how these people flow and how they operate in certain things. And so that has helped us. Exposure is going to help you. You have to be willing to get on a plane, and even though we got the internet, it's different when you can sit across the table from somebody and you can touch them and you can hug them and you can reach out to them. I would tell people, expose yourself to the world. God created a vast world for us to go and see and enjoy. And that helps us with business and to understand our consumers and our customers around the world. And so how can you truly know what people need if you haven't been there to see it yourself? Right. You have an idea of what you think they need, but until you're there, you see it yourself. It was like when we went to Kenya, we were able to see what these kids need, right? We were able to see, okay, what kind of message, what kind of methods can we implement for them so that it gets the message out about the orphanage, so people can give, so people can experience it from the comfort of their computers in their living rooms, what we've seen on the ground there in Kenya. And so I would just tell those who are listening, who are looking to go global with your business, is go expose yourself to the world first, because you can't you can't really do business with a customer that you haven't really, that you don't know, right? It's just in anything, in marketing. In marketing, you want to research your audience, research the demographics, right? And so if I'm wanting to do business in China, but I've never connected with the Chinese, I've never broken bread with the Chinese, I don't know how their cultures flow, then I'm gonna have a tough time doing business there.
And even if you don't have the means to travel abroad, a lot of people internationally are here.
Right.
So you can go and try to, in different communities, get a chance, to understand them, understand their culture. That helps us in our business as well, as because you have to get out there and you have to expose yourself. You have to expose the business. You have to know the people. You have to know who you're reaching. So in order for you to do that, you have to go out there. You have to expose yourself. So that's how we bridge the gap.
I mean, an example of that is you think about cultures and the foods that we eat, right? So Black folks, we eat soul food. We get down with ours, right? And so there's a certain way that you got to know how to market that culturally to grab that audience. You're not going to market that the same way you're going to do Russian food, right? Or Indian food. It's two different cultures, two different kinds of markets. So you have to know that. So what may apply to African Americans may not apply to Indians. It may not apply to the Japanese, right? And so you have to be well-rounded with your research, well-rounded with your product and the services that you provide, understanding those people groups. And that's imperative now. And it's attainable because one, we have the internet. Like my wife was saying, you don't always have to get on a plane and fly to that country, but you can reach out into your communities here, and go where those people are and interact with them and share with them your ideas or your business or your services.
And I totally understand and agree with you, because with my channel, I not only do these kind of interviews, but I'd like to highlight different things that's going on. And so sometimes when I would Google it, I would like, is this old information? Is this current? I'd always try to reach out to people who either live in that situation, or like, for example, the other day we were talking about Emancipation Day in the Caribbean. Those who are under the British rule has a particular day when they celebrate Emancipation Day, and some of the islands do this party called Juve. But I want to figure out, I know it exists, but is it still going on, and is this information accurate? So I was reaching out to people from the different islands and persons who I see online that seem to know about it, so I understand exactly what you want to make sure you connect. You want to make sure you're real and authentic. So I truly appreciate that, and I agree with that. Absolutely. Totally awesome. So get ready, guys. Get ready. We're going to the ends of the world, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We gotta dominate, people. We gotta dominate.
Yes.
Awesome. So you already you basically just broke down, and I should have asked earlier too, the different. I was only focusing on web design, but you basically broke down everything that is under that big umbrella of Nfuxion Design, right?
Right. We like to say that we offer everything. Like if you're coming in from the ground floor, and you're a small business, you're a startup company, and you need the works. Well, that's what we built our business around. Because one thing that I would find is that a lot of people would go to company A for a logo, right? And then they would turn around and go to company B for business cards and for letterhead. And then, okay, once I got my letterhead and my business cards, okay, well, now I need a website. Okay, and then you jump over to the company C, you get a website, and you stretch yourself across all these different companies. Well, what we did is we said, well, let's keep it all, contained within one entity. To where when you come to us and you get your branding, you get your logo, well, guess what? You're not having to go somewhere for a set of business cards or for your stationery. You keep it in house. We have your logo and different things on hand, where we always have it in our database, so that you can give us a call, shoot us an email, and you're ready to get some business cards. You're ready to get a banner created. We can do that right here for you, and you don't have to go anywhere else to do that. When you're ready for your website, we can put that together for you as well. And so I just kind of I put myself in the shoes of, you know, of the consumer.
Right.
And I said, well, man, I wouldn't want to spread myself thin in all these different places just to get a couple of things done. And so that's kind of been our motto for Nfuxion, is infusing all of those things together. And so, and just providing an all around service for people that they get an experience. And so when you come in the door, or, you know, and you say, hey, I've got this idea, I've got this vision, I want to do this, I don't know who to talk to, you know, we can help you with, you know, your marketing. We can help you just kind of get your foot in the door and get your feet wet with what it is that you need, and do it with integrity, because you've got a lot of companies out here that are telling you you need all this different stuff, and they're charging you high prices to do it. And then at the end of the day, you're kind of looking at what you paid for and what you got, and you're saying, well, okay, what do I do now? What do I do with this? How do I apply this to my business?
Right.
And so I think everything that we do, even with faith-based organizations and churches, you know, we have contracts with different churches here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We've helped churches globally, in Kenya, in Africa, you know, just from small, you know, storefronts to mega churches, you know. And again, that goes back to what I was saying earlier, is just knowing your customer, knowing your consumer, right? So what a mega church needs is going to be a lot different than what a small storefront church with, you know, 50 members is going to need, right? But if you're going to excel in what you do, you got to be able to provide services and ideas and solutions. Keyword is solutions, to both of those entities, regardless of the size that they operate in.
Awesome. In other words, you have the answer for somebody's why.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And then you create one blueprint, basically, or one footprint, because different companies use different shades of the same color, right? That, you know, like a basic example. So it's just one clean, even finish that you provide your customers, and that's super phenomenal.
Yeah, it's consistency. You know,
Right.
that's what we want to provide across the board: consistency.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. Awesome. Quick question. So y'all are married, and as you have already said, how do you balance that between, you know, personal life, work life, and how do you use your strengths and weaknesses to keep this business going and vibrant for this long?
Right. Wow. You want to start that, or you?
Yes, I'll start.
I like that.
Yeah.
It didn't happen overnight.
Mm-hmm.
It's a learning curve, because anytime you get married, you bring in two individuals together with their own ideas, their own way of thinking, and so that's in itself is already a challenge. And then you start a business as well. So what we've learned over the years, and the people that we have in our corner to help us with that, is to be able to learn how to balance. And that's the thing that we're still learning, but we're doing a lot better. But balance is one thing, where is when it's time for dinner and our time, we make that time for us, not business, you know. And we still learn that sometimes we'll sit at the table and we're eating dinner and we're you know, Landa might say something about business. And I'm like, sorry, Tom. You know, but and you you know, so it's just a balance, and it's a consciousness that we try to do to make sure that we keep our marriage and work on that and through that and with that, and keep that going and keep that fresh and wonderful. And then at the same time, work together and learn how to, you know, sometimes talk to one another, you know. And my husband's a creative. And so creatives are different because they have ideas and stuff, and, you know, and yeah, and he might be ready to go with this. And I'm like, no, that might not be right. Let's draw back on, let's think about this, you know. So we just have learned, and we're learning how to separate the two.
Right.
Yes.
The Bible says that the two shall become
Come one. That's right.
Become.
Become.
There's
Not immediately.
Yeah, become is a process word, right? It's
right.
not overnight. It's not overnight. It's going to take some time. And so, I think from my perspective, you have to like each other. You have to like each other, right? And it's funny because my wife early on, and she tells me, and I'll be honest, she didn't like me because I was very, very hard nosed about things. I was very curt, very, very, very to the point, and matter of fact. And I had to understand that this is my wife. This is not my business partner. This is my wife. And so I had to understand, her feelings. I had to understand how she internalized some things that I could easily shake off, right? And then vice versa. There's things that she can easily shake off that I internalize that I'm sitting there, ready to pull all my hair out about. So I think it starts with one, you got to like each other and see that you're compatible to work with one another. And we both come from a corporate background. So that kind of gave us some of our testing ground, if you will. That was our testing ground, was corporate America. And so when we got tired of corporate America, we had to make sacrifices to launch out in business. So, and I would tell your viewers that there is going to be a sacrifice. Anything that's going to be worth it is going to be a sacrifice. And so and I'll go back to 2016 or so. A year prior to that, I think I had prayed to God. I said, God, I want us to make $10,000 a month. And that was my prayer. And within about a year, God had answered our prayer. Well, we were making that amount of money at our corporate jobs. We weren't doing Nfuxion together at the time. And she would come home from work miserable and telling me how bad her day was or how bad her boss was tripping. And I would come home miserable, from my day. But God had answered our prayer. And we took a vacation to the Big Island in Hawaii. And we were in one of those electric cars for the first time. We're driving this electric Ford or whatever. And we get all the way up there in high altitude in the mountain, and the car stalls on us. And so we're waiting for hours on this mountain in Hawaii, waiting for the tow guy and the rental company to come get us with a new car.
And cars passing by like
cars are passing, it's hot, and they're in the Big Island. They got every kind of weather there. It's hot one minute and it's cool the next minute, then it's raining the next minute. So we're up there, we're waiting for these, for the tow guys or whatever to come with the car. And we just said, okay, now what are we going to do? We get back home, we get back to Dallas. Are we looking for jobs, or are we going to immerse ourselves into our business, into Nfuxion? And we had to decide right then and there. And we did. And we prayed about it. And we got home and said, this is what we're going to do. And so we've been doing it together, ever since. But I say this because it is not easy. It is not easy. Her personality, she's more of a social butterfly. She's more, outgoing at times. I'm more introverted. I'm more quiet, laid back. I can create better in that space. She's the athletic type. I'm more, hey, I can work till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, on what I'm doing. She's mad because, she's saying, Landa, you need 8 hours of sleep. I'm saying, no, babe, I'm good. I can get me 2-3 hours and wake up the next morning and I'm ready to rock and roll. So, but you have to mesh and infuse all of that together. And it will work if you want it to work. And if you bring in the right people that can bless you, that can help you, that can speak into your life, that you can allow to correct you, right? I had to go through a lot of correction to be able to balance my marriage and my wife. And many times I didn't hit the mark. I failed miserably. But when you fail, and we both did, respectively. And so, but when you fail, you get back up, right? You've never seen an NBA player be drafted into the NBA in their first year. They don't make the playoffs or the championship, and they quit and they retire. No. You see them going for it year after year after year until they reach the pinnacle of their career and win that championship. And we're out to win the championship. you
All
know.
right.
And so as long as we keep God first and we keep, you know, and we keep one another's feelings, you know, and just be cognizant and aware of how we both feel when we're working together, well, then we'll have that success. We'll get to where we need to be.
Awesome.
Landa is,
Awesome.
you know, we have the creative team. Landa is the creative. I'm the finance person. I have a degree in accounting, so and was in accounting for 25 years. So I'm a financial person in the business. So you know that gives us a fine line. You know, I do the financial part, and he do.
Yeah,
You know,
see,
I'm
not touching no numbers. Right? I don't
but he does. There's time when he cross over
Yeah.
and he comes in and he'll say, well, this right here, this, that. I was like, I got this.
Well, and,
You know?
and she says that, but for the years leading up to us, you know, when we got married, I did it myself. I had to do all of it, right?
Mhm.
And so now it's, you know, it's tough to be able to allocate, you know, some of that information and those tasks over to her because I'm used to how I do it, how I did it for so long. And so that's, again, that's the balance is, you know, is learning what to give up and trusting her with the skills and talents that she has and the gifts that she has to be able to do it so that she contributes to the business as a whole for both of us and for all of us.
Mhm. Yep, it's all about balance, right?
Yeah,
and the fact
absolutely.
that the fact that you basically will be able to see, you have to see each other every day, 365 days of the year. You're
Yes.
working together, you're living together. So as you said, coming up with the dynamics to keep everything nice and functioning.
Right.
Awesome. All right. So before we even venture in, and I told you guys earlier, remember? Together, they're one, but by themselves, they have some enterprises that we're going to talk about soon. But before we move into those individual businesses or entities that you both have, let my audience know how to connect with you if they want to bring their business to that next level.
Absolutely.
Infusion style. Come on now, we
Absolutely.
elevate, guys. We're elevating. So tell us how to connect with you for Infusion.
Absolutely. Well, we'd love to be able to assist you and help you on your journey. And so you can reach out to us online. You can find us at www.nfuxion.com. That's NFUXION.com. You can also find us on all social media platforms. That's Facebook, that's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's TikTok, you name it, LinkedIn, LinkedIn, YouTube. Just, you know, when you go to those platforms, simply type in Nfuxion. There's no I at the beginning of Nfuxion, it's just NFUXION. And as soon as you type that in or you go on Google, you'll be able to find our social media platforms. You can also reach us on our phone number toll free at 833-NFUXION. And again, on WhatsApp, we're also on WhatsApp for our global clients. That's 214-494-0824 on WhatsApp.
All right, and all of those information will be in the description, guys. So if you missed a number or here or there, it's gonna be in the description box, okay? May I first of all compliment that poster? I keep looking at it behind you. I think it's one of my favorite with you guys. With and it's your wife. She's such a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
I love that. Whenever I see, I will just gravitate to the smile. It just, you know. So guys, you see, it's just nice, simple, clean colors, clean lines, but it's effective because I've been looking at it for the longest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It wasn't distracting, but it's effective. So plug in, guys, plug in. Make sure you get connected with Nfuxion Design. By the way, I have a quick question. Who came up with that spelling? You, right, Landa?
I did, yeah. You know, and I always, I always like quirky stuff that's different, right? Mm-hmm. And I tend to look at, again, what the competition is doing, what the big guys are doing, and the successful companies are doing. And I wanted, again, a play on the word infusion, you know, where we were infusing all these different skill sets into our company. And I think I just kind of played, it was more so the font. I think the font I was playing with, and I didn't like the I at the beginning of it. I didn't like the S in there, and I had seen it online. I had Googled. So I'll tell you this, it's funny, before when I come up with a company name or business, the first thing I do is Google it to see if it's out there, right? Or if there's some kind of variation out there that's going to infringe on my idea.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is, I'm not doing it. I'm gonna switch it up some kind of different way. And so that's what I did with Nfuxion. I went out there and I literally Googled everything and researched and see if there was other graphic design companies and marketing companies that had similar names, whatever. And at the time, I didn't find anything. And so when I went with this spelling, I said, well, this is it, and I prayed about it. I mean, pray about everything, even the smallest minute details, pray about everything. And that's what I did. And it's, it stuck.
Awesome. Yeah, I always said it had to be you.
Yeah.
But I said, let me ask. I was always curious. I said, let me ask.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So are we ready to dig deeper? We are going deeper.
Let's do it.
And so let's start with Rotunda. Tell us about Fit Girl Fitness. That's her. That's her entity, guys.
It is. Gosh, I've always been into athletics. My goodness, since I was a child. And so I've been in all the different sports. I've been in track and field. I've done basketball. Volleyball is my love, my favorite. I even started looking into bodybuilding at one point when I was younger. Before I met this handsome gentleman here, I was looking into that. So I've always been into sports. I've always been into health and fitness. And so back in really about 2000, and I started doing some actually coaching with me and a couple of my other friends that we grew up with. We started coaching in the summer, coaching volleyball. And so from there, it kind of pushed me on into wanting to go ahead and really work even more on my body, work even more on my health. And so I was like, I'm going to push this. I'm going to take it up a notch. This is what I really want to do. And because I love sports and because I love volleyball, me and Landa always talk about what we would have done if we weren't doing this. I would be in the AVPs, which is Professional Volleyball League, and he would be in the Professional Basketball League. And so when I came up with the idea of Fit Girl Fitness, it came out of also a necessity before went through some things in my life before I met my husband now. I was previously married. We have one daughter, and she's grown now. But as the time was going on, I started to use working out as a means to help me get through some rough patches in my life. Going through divorce, going through separation, raising a child on my own, losing children, babies. And so that helped me to birth Fit Girl Fitness. I went ahead in 2014. I wanted to get my certification as to be a certified professional trainer. And I was like, let's do it, So I got my certification as a high intensity interval trainer and a resistance trainer. And so I am a personal trainer, and I love it. I try to get my husband, I push him to it too, but I love it. And the reason I love it and the reason that it's such a passion for me is because we as women, especially African-American women, we do not take care of ourselves. Women and men, we eat the wrong things. We don't take care of our health. We don't understand how much our health affects everything. If we don't eat well, it affects our creativity. If we don't take care of our health and exercise, it affects our creativity. It affects everything. Not only on the outward appearance, the weight, but it also affects us mentally and emotionally. And so I want people to understand, and I will say this, and I hope my husband's okay with this, that right now at my age, I'm 53 years old. And at my age, I see so many people, you know, just giving up, sinking into, oh, I'm this age, I can't work out, I can't do this, I can't lift weights, I can't do these things, and you can. Once we get your health, which I mean, what I mean is your nutrition under control, learning how to eat, learning what you should eat, learning the times to eat. There's a method and there's a science to all of this. And we, especially us as our culture, we have to learn this because we have so many things that work against us. We have so many emotional things that we deal with, and you know, history and the things we've dealt with in the past, and our parents have dealt with, and you know, the health issues and challenges they've had, you know, high blood pressure, diabetes, you know, heart disease, all of these things, you know, that we need to combat now. And so my Big Girl Fitness is not just for girls, you know what I mean, or women, it's for men. But I want women to understand that no matter what age or stage of your life that you're in, you can get your life back. You can get healthy. You can go forward and enjoy a life that's healthy and whole and nutritious. Now again, I'm not saying go out there and eat, you know, people always say, oh, this food right here, you know, eating healthy can be boring. Not necessarily. Now with technology and what, you know, what we have now, food has changed tremendously. You know, if you're gonna cook greens, you don't have to put all that fat back in it now. You know, you can still eat greens and season them and make them healthy and good for your body. So my Big Girl was birthed out of a necessity as well, going through some challenges in my life, trying to get through that and realizing that when I work out and when I put all my focus and attention in that, I feel better. I can think. My mind is free. I'm able to think. I'm able to rationalize and not over rationalize things. So that's what Big Girl Fitness was birthed out of.
Awesome. So can person maybe especially now with persons using a lot of Zoom and stuff, can they reach out to you and do you do like one-on-one training or like Zoom classes or whatever?
Yes, I do one-on-one training right now. With me and Landa working with Nfuxion, it's been kind of a challenge because we're so immersed in Nfuxion right now. But I do one-on-one training. They can contact me. I'm on Instagram at Thick Girl Fitness, and they can contact me on Instagram, and they also can call me. So, and I can give my number, you get out as well. They can call me, but I do go to people. I go to homes, you know, I go to people's homes that, you know, to train. I also go to facilities and train. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Awesome. Let's get to it. I honestly, for me, you know, like when people put limits on you because of age, I'm really anti that. And as you said, some persons will look down and age and say, "No, I can't do it." I think once there's breath in our body and the will to do it, we should just go for it, even if it's not at the same intensity, but at least, okay, let me lift these dumbbells a little bit.
Right.
It will eventually work, right?
Right, and it's levels. You know, everybody's not at the same level. So somebody that would see me might say, "Oh my God, I don't know if I can work out with her. She's, you know," but I'm a trainer. I'm the billboard. I'm supposed to look that way. But everybody they're at a different level. So, but when it comes to personal trainers, what we do is help you to understand how to train, how to use it to benefit yourself. A lot of times people get injured because they don't understand. They go in and they say, "Okay, I'm gonna go use the machines, or I'm gonna lift some weights." It's not just that. You have to understand what to do. There's a method in it, you know, in trying to get to a goal. What we do is we research what you want. What is your goals? You know, where are you at? Are you wanting to lose weight? Are you wanting to gain weight? Are you wanting to get healthier? So what we do as trainers, we find out where you are in what stage of your life you're at and what your goals are. And we work from there. We work with people who have from, you know, issues with health issues, all the way to people who are who say, "I've never really worked out before. I don't really like to sweat. I don't like to work out." We work with all types of people to help them to see how important your health is.
Awesome. So it's almost that individual touch, basically.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
awesome. That's
Yes.
awesome. All right, guys. So we said Nfuxion Designs, Fit Girl Fitness, we're going to get our health in order. And then Landa has his own entity. Okay. So ready for it? It's all about clothing line, guys.
Yes.
Clothing. So he has a brand called Landa. Come help me with the last part. I don't want to
Landa
spoil
Gherra. Landa Gherra.
it.
Yes.
Tell us all about it. I mean, when I see those outfits on Instagram, I'll be like, ooh, and most of them when I see, to be honest, I'm not able to plunge in it and purchase as soon as I will. Tell us about it. I really love the font. I'm always about lines and colors. So it's really awesome. I love it. Go ahead, talk about it.
Thank you so much. Wow. You know, my father passed away in 2005. And when he passed away suddenly. And before he passed, he left in his will a written statement. And he started that statement out with a sentence. He said, Landa Gherra Morgan. And he had my name, my first name, my middle name, and my last name underlined like 3 times. And he said, Landa Gherra Morgan, if you would just use your name, you'd be on your way to success. And that was significant for me because I hated my name as a kid.
Oh.
I thought it was too girly and feminine. Nobody could pronounce Landa. I would get called London, Laundry, London, Landis. I mean, you name it, everything but Landa, I would get called. And so I hated my name as a kid. And my dad was my biggest cheerleader. He's my biggest fan. And he would just, he would say, son, if you use your name and you can do this and you can do that. And I'm a musician and an artist as well. And so after he passed, I really started getting more of the confidence of using my name. And in 2011 is the year I actually launched Landa Gherra, the clothing line. And at that time, I was broken, and but I had this urge to start a clothing line. And I knew I always wanted a clothing line that would be representative of not just God, but of just of excellence. I believe that we as African Americans and Black people as a whole, we're people of excellence and we're people of royalty. And so the name that I use, of course, had to be my name. And as a creative, I sat down with different fonts and just kind of typed it out a million times with different fonts. And so what you see today is actually what I came up with, or God gave me back in 2011. And I printed up a couple of shirts. And at that time, I actually learned how to screen print. I mean, actually screen print. I didn't go to a company to screen print them. I was screen printing my own shirts. I was going and getting the ink, and I had the screen print machine, and you name it. I was creating the stencils in the garage and spraying them down. I mean, I was doing all of that. And I was picking out, I wanted quality in everything that I did. And so even with the t-shirts at that time, I would go, and find what were good retail level t-shirts. And once I found those, I would be in the garage sweating, screen printing my own shirts. And so in 2011, we had rolled out a shirt, and it was pretty successful. It was called, for women, it was confidence and then get you some, in real big text. And then for men, it was integrity, get you some. And at the bottom, it had my name, Landa Gherra. And like I said, it was fairly successful at the time. But I think I went through a spat of depression, and I wasn't really marketing savvy at the time. So I didn't know how to push it out beyond friends and family that were supporting it. And so I put it on the shelf. I put on the shelf for years. And it was last year, 2020, with COVID and everything going on. And it was like God had spoken to me. He said, it's time to put that back out there. It's time to put that name back out there. Now, mind you, in the span of 10 years, from 2011 to 2021, I've learned more about marketing. I've learned more about branding because of what I do with Nfuxion. And so, and I learned more about the industry, you know, and so I thought now is the time. And when I tell people with Landa Gherra, I would look at the top names in fashion, the Calvin Kleins, the Tommy Hilfigers. We know some of them as, you know, just one name, Gucci, Versace, you know, of course, Ralph Lauren and Vera Wang. And I would look at these names, Steve Madden, and I would say, these are people's names that we're wearing, but we don't know their lives.
True.
We don't know that we know a persona of their lifestyle that they show us through TV or commercials or ads or whatever, but do we know their lives? Do we know what they believe? Do we know how they live? Do we know how they treat their spouses? No, but we wear their names and we wear their names proudly. I don't know who Gucci was. I don't know who Gianni Versace really was. And so when I started looking at my name as a brand, well, I know what I represent. I know what I have to represent as a man, as a Black man. It has to be integrity. It has to be of excellence. It has to be of quality. And so when I was going, you know, and right now you're seeing more of the t-shirts and apparel, and it won't stay there. That's to, you know, to get the name and the brand out there and build that brand recognition is through t-shirts. That's people are walking billboards with t-shirts. But even in a t-shirt, as my wife can tell you, I spent months and I spent maybe hundreds of dollars of buying samples for t-shirts just to get the right consistency and the right fabrics, because I just didn't want any old t-shirt. I didn't want to go to the swap meet or, you know, and buy a bunch of bulk t-shirts that were hard cotton and, you know, would ruffle up at the neck. And I didn't want that. I wanted something that was retail quality. And so the same thing I did back in 2011 is the same thing I did even more so last year and this year, is I wanted that quality product that when somebody puts this on, you feel like you just walked into Macy's. You walked into Dillard's, which again, Macy's and Dillard's are names, right, of department stores, but those are people's names. And so Landa Gherra is important to me because, and I put, you know, a lot of me into the line. A lot of what you see with all of the products, from the website to the social media marketing to the clothing design, everything that you see, that's my hand. And my wife, who's my biggest fan and my biggest supporter, but she's also that iron that sharpens me. And I call on her to be my iron because I'm iron, and iron can only sharpen iron. And so I'm always running my ideas by her. I'm like, babe, how does this look? You know, and vice versa. You know, I'm always saying, well, babe, okay, you're a woman, you know, what do you think about this? What do you think about the packaging? Even the packaging, right? I didn't just want just nice t-shirts or nice apparel, but I wanted the packaging. I'm gonna tell you what what got me with the packaging. True story. I was dating my wife at the time. This is probably about 2005 or so. Yeah, maybe 2005 or so, and it was around Christmas time. And my wife told me she wanted a Tiffany bracelet. And I didn't know what Tiffany was. I mean, you know, I heard about it, but she's wanted this Tiffany bracelet. You know? I said, okay, cool. I think she wanted a bracelet and a matching necklace or whatever. I was like, okay, cool. So I'll get her this. And I really didn't know how much the price was. Again, the internet was still kind of new. So I go to one of the real high-end malls here in Dallas. I think it was North Park Mall. And this is during Christmas time, so it's packed out in the mall. And I'm walking through and I'm looking for the store for Tiffany's. And I go in and I buy it and I tell the lady, hey, this is what I'm wanting, blah, blah, blah. and they're like, you know, on and on, and people in the store like, oh, she must be a special lady, you know, whoever's getting this, yada, yada. I was like, well, yeah, you know, she's my girl, you know. And so I come out of the store and I've got these Tiffany bags, these bluish green Tiffany bags in my hand. And I've still got more shopping to do in other stores. So I'm going to like Dillard's and Macy's and all these different other stores with these Tiffany bags in my hand. And Shelly, it was like the Red Sea had parted. When I walked into the store, it was like people were just like, oh my God, who was that for? You know, and the women who were working behind the counter, they were like, oh my God, she must be just so special to be getting Tiffany's. And I was like, there's something powerful about this little blue bag, you know, that says Tiffany's on there. And so I studied that. Again, I studied the greats. I studied those who are successful. And I said, okay, what is it about this package that is synonymous with wealth, with opulence, with excellence, with quality? And that's what I wanted to instill and infuse in my products, is that when I put my name on something like Tiffany does, I want people from the time that you get it and with that packaging, you're experiencing quality and excellence. When you open up that box and you see that tissue paper with my name on it, well, all of that costs money, right? All of that took time to create. So I'm taking that time and I'm spending my money and going the extra mile so that you have that experience when you put that on. Not just, oh, I got a t-shirt in the mail in a bag and I'm gonna throw this shirt on. No, I want you to experience it, because I see myself. The Bible says, you know, that your gift will make room for you, but that God will said he will make your name great. Well, I do desire that, but I desire that for the right reasons. I desire that to help people, to, like you talked about earlier, we're philanthropists. So I have to build that trust, not just in my products, but in how I treat people and customer service, all those things I learned in corporate America, what to do, what not to do. And so it was just time this year. It was time to put out Landa Gherra, and I'm excited about it.
Awesome, awesome.
Yes, yes.
It's out there now.
It's out there now.
Right,
and so,
definitely. And back to what you said with packaging, even if it's just a small item, that package speaks volumes. So
yes,
that's really
yes.
awesome. So guys, whether or not you do Nfuxion, whether it's Fit Girl Fitness, whether it's Landa Gherra, you're going to be in good hands when you connect with these people right here, the Morgan.
Thank you.
Right. And I take a great pleasure to just introduce them to you and see there's so much that they can do. And you can do the same thing too, guys. You are unique. You are number one. So don't minimize your beginning, okay? Don't minimize where you're from or where you're going, but just pursue whatever your dreams are and keep going. So, guys, I think I didn't ask you yet, but could you also tell them how to connect with you as well, with the clothing line?
Yes. With Landa Gherra, they can visit us online. It's spelled LandaGherra.com. Again, that's Landa Gherra. And we're on all the social media platforms. And so that's Facebook, that's TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, you name it, that we're on there. And again, the clothes are available right now. And you can order online at the website, LandaGherra.com. You can also order, if you love Instagram, if you love Facebook and you just can't pull yourself, you can order directly from your Instagram app right there on Instagram and right there on Facebook, right? So you can just visit Landa Gherra when you're on Instagram and Facebook, and you can shop directly from there. It's totally secure. And you know, everything is streamlined, and so you're good to go. And so any support that you guys would give, we'd love to hear your feedback. You know, and we want to give you that experience. And so, you know, when you buy the products, we want to know how we can get better. You know, if you see something that's not quite right, or, you know, we could have done this better or to your liking, let us know that, right? We don't want you to berate us and diminish us. If we didn't get something right, tell us so we can correct it and make it better. That's how these companies have become the Gucci's and Versace's of the world, is by years and years of refining their product, refining their services, and becoming who they are, that we know them to be today. And so we look to do the same thing with Landa Gherra.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So I am really, really, I was just so excited for this interview. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
Um,
Yeah.
and one of the things I love to do, or I love to find out what with each of my guests is what they do for self-care. Because I always, when I started this channel, I always wanted to let persons feel like they're number one, and we all are. You understand? And so I always try to encourage my watchers to do something to take care of them. Remember that they're number one. My last video, I had all the people hugging themselves. I said, hug yourself, squeeze yourself. You're holding greatness. So
Yeah.
I like to encourage that. So one of the things I wanted to find out, if each of you could answer, what do you do for self-care? What do you do for Zen?
Yeah.
Me, I will start with me. Initially, what I do every day is I get up and pray. That's one of the first things I do before I do anything, look at emails or anything. I get up and pray. But by me being by me being a personal trainer, my self-care is taking care of my body, taking care of my mind. All of that is incorporated in together. So I do my workouts, training. I love to train. It's everything to me. So training, and also talking to myself. And people say, talking to yourself, losing your mind. No. Talking to yourself. I get in the mirror, and Landa knows this. I get in the mirror and I talk to myself. And I look at myself and I say, you can do it. You were created to do this. You were created for a purpose. You were created to do things on this earth that nobody else could do. You were created to do it. So that's one of the things that I do. That's one of the things that I do is I speak to myself and I talk to myself and I encourage myself. A lot of times people don't do that, encourage themselves, but I encourage myself that no matter what it looks like, no matter what it seems, it's going to work. Everything's going to happen. What you put your hands to, your hands to it. Don't look back. Do it to the best of your ability. But those are the things that I do. And I encourage myself to continue to keep going. You have it. God wouldn't create you if you didn't have what it takes to do what it is he put you here to do. And also, he's going to make a way for you. He already have the open doors for you. They're waiting for you. All he wants you to do is to go for it and believe in yourself. So that's what I do.
Awesome. I talk to myself too, but I don't normally look in the mirror, but I would say stuff to myself,
Yeah.
to encourage myself to keep going.
Yeah.
All right. Ready, Mr. Morgan?
Yeah. For me, you definitely got to pray. I definitely pray. I'm a conversationalist when it comes to God. So my prayer may not necessarily be a dedicated time that I'm talking to him for a period of time. Mine is conversationally throughout the day, right? While I'm working, while I'm doing other activities, I'm always talking. So like she's talking to herself, I'm talking to him. I call it chopping it up with him, because I look at God as that best friend. I talk to him that way, as if he were right there sitting next to me. So that's how my prayer life with him is. Another thing I use to kind of detox is music. I'm a musician, I'm an artist, and I love the real music. I love music that makes you think. I love music that has lyrical substance. And then jazz music, instrumental music, and so I immerse myself in the arts and in music to really kind of get away. When I have time to, I'll pull out one of my audio books or my ebook on my Kindle and read. It's been a while since I've had the time to be able to do that. But I would just encourage people, find whatever it is that and I have to be told to release, right? I have to be told. Our spiritual father has to get on me constantly. He's like, okay, Landa, you have to do this, and you have to, you have to celebrate yourself. I find it hard to celebrate my accomplishments sometimes. And so what that does, it's like a car without an exhaust pipe. And I've got a lot of stuff built up in my engine, but no exhaust pipe. So I have to be told when to release and exhaust and woosah, right? Because I can keep going and going and going and going. And I'm learning from my wife how that affects my health, how it affects my creativity, right? Because again, I had built a system for so long doing it my way on myself before I got married. And even with me being married to her, there's, because I did it for so long before her, I still have to be aware that, oh, I can't do it like that way anymore. And it's hard. Those are strongholds that you've built up for a period of time that you got to be aware of and cognizant of, like, I can't do it that way. I can't do it that way anymore. So I'm still learning. I'm learning to celebrate. I'm learning to just to have self-care. I'm learning to take a lot of what she knows about fitness and athletics and taking care of your body, and I'm implementing that now. I get up in the morning, I go, for my 2-mile walk, and so, I'm learning.
Awesome. And it's all about, daily growing. As you said, you're learning and learning to say, let's take a pause.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's important. The time for rest, the time for activity. So it's really important.
Absolutely.
So we're winding down, and it's really a pleasure having it, as I said before. But is there anything you would like to share with person, whether it's from the Fit Girl Fitness, whether it's from the Landa Gherra, whether it's from the experiences of Nfuxion Design, anything you'd want to leave with my audience as it relates to persons who want to embark in their business, who maybe have started and stopped, anything you'd want to leave, any words of encouragement or advice you'd want to leave with them before we go?
You want to start?
I would encourage them to, especially those who have started and stopped, I would encourage them to sit down and think about what it is and why they're doing it. Why are they stopping? And what is it that they want to do? The research that we talked about, learning to research, what we've done, and we say this all the time, unfortunately, people say, you guys are pioneers at the things that we're doing. And sometimes you don't have a blueprint. You don't have that thing that you need, that actually is, this is actually what I do, and they do the same thing. So I would encourage them to research, to know what their why is. Why are they doing it? A lot of times it's our passion. Find out what your passion is. Find out what it is that you love. Find out what it is that irritates you, that a lot of people want to be into politics. Oh, this irritates me. And, and they were like, well, somebody said, why don't you go into politics? Oh, I didn't think of that. So a lot of times that's our passion will tell us what it is that we were created to do. So find that, search that, look into yourself, look at what you love, look at what bothers you, those things, and use those things to help you go forward and what you want to do with business, caterer, or you want to be, a chef, whatever it is.
Right.
Just go make sure that you know your why and research and find out about how to go about doing it. That's what I would say.
I totally agree. And I just to add to that piece, I would tell people that are in business or starting businesses or have started and stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody may not be the CEO.
Right.
You may be the partner to the CEO. You may be the extension that business needs over here, mm-hmm. where you can bring your talent, your skill set, and help better that company. And I think we're living at a time now where everybody wants to be the it person. I'm the CEO, I'm the founder, I'm this. And sometimes you have to, you might be the piece of someone else's puzzle. And if you don't know that, you're going to be frustrated and you're going to be angry because it's not working for you. And somebody across town needs what it is that you have, and you have to be willing and wise enough to say, okay, you know what? I can be successful if I team up with you. Instead of trying to be the one-man show or the one-woman show,
Right.
let me partner with you so we can get this done. Every big business that you've seen, from Facebook, PayPal, so forth, those were partnerships. That wasn't one person, you know, even with Amazon, that wasn't one person. He had different people, different players. We look at Microsoft, we look at Apple, Steve Jobs. Yeah, his name is celebrated, but there was 2, 3 other guys with him that started in that garage. So I would tell people, you know, in starting in this business is your blessing may be tied in with other people that can help you. And I would also say, find a unique thing in what you're put here to do. God gave each one of us a unique fingerprint. Nobody on this planet has your fingerprint or your eye pattern. Nobody. The same thing goes for your vision or your business. There may be similarities, but it is your vision and you're going to be different from everybody else. David, there were other kings of Israel, but wasn't nobody like David. Wasn't nobody like Josiah. But nobody like, you know, the other ones that came in line, whether good or bad. But you got to find your lane and stop. I would tell people, stop looking at what everyone else is doing and how they're doing it. That's where you're getting in. That's where people are getting in trouble, particularly us as Black people. We're getting in trouble looking at how other folks have already done it. And we're going out here copying and imitating and mimicking, thinking, oh, well, such and such does hair that I can do hair, or such and such does makeup, you know, I can do eyelashes and makeup. Well, and there's nothing against those things, but ask yourself, do we have enough of those things? Probably so.
Ask yourself what else you can do.
Or what can I do? What can I, exactly, what can I do within that industry that takes it to another level? Where I'm not just another player on the bench with other players that are sitting on the bench with me, that I can be the standout person in this, where I can do it differently. I can do it of higher quality, right? What is this industry missing that I can bring to the table that it needs? And so, and that takes time to do that. If you're in business to make a quick buck, you already broke. If you're your why is wrong. Your why is wrong. Your why has to be, I have a solution to people's problems. I have an innovative idea that can help change the trajectory of people's lives and livelihoods. Your why has to be, I want to help humanity. I want to help people become better or be better. So better quality of life. Your why has to be outside of you. If your why is, oh man, I'm tired of working this job. I'm tired of being in corporate America. I'm tired of getting up and doing 9 to 5. I want to work for myself. Then your why is wrong. And you're going to be severely frustrated when it doesn't start panning out and working like you thought it was, like you thought it would, because your motives and your intention of getting in it is wrong. Right. And so I would just encourage the viewers that are starting out in business. Again, do your research, do your due diligence. It's okay to be hidden. It's okay to be unknown. It's okay to be uncalled, not called upon. It's okay to be incognito. That's fine. While you're honing your craft, while you're bettering yourself, while you're creating that edge that makes you different, that's going to make you stand out. And whether that's a year, 2 years, or a couple of years, continually, my wife says this word all the time, consistency. Be consistent at what you're doing. When you see one of those big, huge mansions in Hollywood or in Florida or whatever, that house was laid one brick at a time. 10,000 bricks weren't thrown up there at one time. It was laid one brick at a time with a foundation and with a blueprint. Come up with your blueprint. My wife said, was saying earlier that when you're a pioneer, you usually don't have a blueprint. You don't have somebody else's plans that you can go off of, because you're the one that God has entrusted to do this thing. And that can be frustrating for a period of time. But when you're a pioneer, you got to create your own blueprint. You got to go for what you know, but do it in a way where it excites you to do it. When you get up and the money doesn't come in, when you get up and they didn't order anything off of your website, they didn't order any of your products, does it still excite you? I'm more excited about Landa Gherra today in 2021 than I was 10 years ago in 2011. And I'm 10 years wiser. I'm just 10 years of back in wilderness experiences that now I'm ready to go to Pharaoh and be like, yo, you can let my people go, and I want gold, I want this, I want all that comes with it, right? I'm ready now. And now I got my team, I got my Zipporah with me, I got my Jethro with me, I got, I got my team with me. Now we can go, exactly. Now we can go back to Egypt and I can get everything that I'm supposed to have. So that's what I would tell business owners. That's what I tell people who are struggling and starting out, is do the research. And it's okay to, and I would also tell people, my people, stop trying to look the part. Entrepreneurship, for real, is not glamorous. It ain't glamorous. It ain't, oh, I'm doing my thing and I'm looking good and I'm fly, my hair and nails is always done and blah, blah, blah. No. It's a struggle. It's a grind for a reason. You're doing more stuff behind the scenes than what you're going to be seen doing up front. But that is the part of the process. Right. We want to skip process and want people to call upon our names. We want people to just pay for our products and pay for our services. It don't work like that. There is a process of refining, of fine-tuning. Jesus even said in the Bible where he prunes, he cuts back so that it could produce more fruit. If you want just a little bit of fruit, then don't get no pruning. Don't take no pruning. But if you want a lot of fruit, enough fruit for yourself and for others, then you're going to get that snipping, you're going to get that cut, but you got to be willing to take that cut. And as entrepreneurs, my wife and I would love to go out here and be able to spend money on nice wardrobes and nice things for us, but we don't. We invest it back into the business. We invest it into our vision. There's going to be a time for that where we'll be able to do that. We're not trying to look the part. We want to be the part. We want to understand customer service. We want to understand how we're connecting with our clients, what we need to be better in. That's not glamorous. Stop being so quick to share things on social media. Hey, look at me. Look at what I'm doing. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. No. Be incognito for a little bit. Work in silence. Move in silence for a little bit. And then when you're ready, other people will announce you. Jesus didn't announce himself. And who was more ready than Jesus? You see what I'm saying? If we can take it there for a spiritual lesson in that, Jesus didn't even announce himself. He didn't come out and say, "Yo, I'm the Son of God, and line up all your sick and your elderly. I'm finna start healing folks." He didn't do none of that. He had no business cards, no flyers, nothing. It was John the Baptist, his cousin, that said, "Here he is." And the Holy Spirit, God announced him, "This is my son who I'm well pleased." God will make your name great in his time when he sees that you've done the work, when he sees that you're ready, and when you're consistent, and when your why is right. If your why isn't right, go back on the backside and keep working. Go back to the drawing board. If your why is to make a quick dollar, you're going to make that quick dollar and it's going to be spent quick. And you're going to be trying to make another quick dollar. But if your why is about people and humanity and blessing people, improving lives, improving how people can work. These people, Facebook wasn't about making money. When these guys were coming up with Zoom, it wasn't about making money. It was about creating a product that could help people connect. Then the money came. So what is your why? Is what I would ask your people. Make sure that your why is right.
Well said. Well said. Awesome. Well, we've got nuggets, we've got bars, we've got all the gems that we can chew on. All right, guys. So go back to your blueprint. Look at your why. And I would also encourage you to not only think for now, but think for generational wealth as you build your business. Yes. I want to say thank you so much for coming, Mr. and Mrs. Morgan.
Very welcome. Thank you for having us.
It was a lovely time together. Guys, remember to plug in and check out all the other episodes of this series. Thank you so much for making it according to MzShellz. This is your girl. Remember, take care of you because it's only one you. You are one in a million. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for making it according to MzShellz. Thank you for coming, the Morgans, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.